A couple of months ago I got this Taurus 9mm revolver, and we did a review of it early on, actually the unpackaging and the first firing of it, and you may have already seen that video. One of the things that I noticed, that I commented on that video, and by the way, this is unloaded revolver. One of the things that I noted is that for a person with a size, my size hands, I really don't have anything to do with this pinky. Doesn't give me really any extra grip on this thing. It's kind of the floating pinky on these smaller revolvers, smaller type of handguns. So one thing I was thinking about doing, and I finally did, is to purchase a set of these Hogue MonoGrips. This is for the Taurus small frame revolver, which is what this is, and today we're going to install it. Now, I haven't installed this already, taken it off and then kind of rehearse this for you. This is an actual first install. We're going to give this a try and see how it goes. So pretty straightforward stuff. I did open this up, took a look at the instructions. We got the instructions, we have the grip, and then we have this other part right down here, simply referred to as the stirrup, with a screw inserted into it. I see a little bit of tarnish or rust on here, so before I install this I'm going to buff that out, and then we'll get started. Just finishing this up with a little bit of this silicone on the silicone rag here. That looks pretty nice now. So we need to remove this screw as indicated in the instructions. I'm going to set that right inside that box, as well as the stirrup. Now, one thing nice about Hogue, they have in big bold letters here, if you have any problems, do not hesitate to contact them. They have an 800 number here. So step one is to make sure the firearm is unloaded. We've already done that, but once again, doesn't hurt. This is an unloaded revolver. Step two, that was easy, right? By the way, there's some nomenclature we have to be aware of. This is the grip body, what they call the guide grooves right here. The stirrup, as I already mentioned, and the screw that we've removed from the stirrup, that comes inserted and screwed into the stirrup a little bit in the packaging. But you remove all those pieces. So then what we're going to do, still on step one actually, is to remove the existing grips. Okay, so what we'll see here is there's nothing on this side, but there is a screw right here, and that should allow us to remove the grips. I need to first of all grab a flat tip screwdriver that will fit this. Alright, well, this is a very small screw, and the smallest screwdriver I have does fit. So we're going to carefully remove this. Okay, well, there we go. This is actually a two-piece grip, and so once you got it loosened up and remove that screw there, which secures the two pieces together, and it still seems pretty tight, but then just a little bit of prying in this area right here with your fingernails lifts it apart, and the whole thing just opened up, and so that's fine. See, we have a little bit of that original grease. That's not a tarnish, but some of that packing grease down inside there. We're going to get that all wiped out. That's looking good. Pretty good. I'm actually going to put a little oil on that, and then we'll continue. Okay, there we go. That's just to keep it in even better shape after we install the grips. So step 1 is now completed. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use that stirrup. I'm going to take the stirrup, I'm going to place it down here, and what they're calling the handle. We're going to rotate it into place and use this pin right here. This pin will seat inside the hole right there. Right there. Okay, so this shouldn't be too terribly difficult. Kind of using my finger to open up the stirrup a little bit. There we go. Oops. One side on. Push her a little bit forward. There we go. That's how we need to have it. Right there. And as is shown in this third step diagram here, when it's finally in place, the stirrup is a clamp that we're later on going to use to secure the grip right through here to this stirrup with that screw that we took out just a minute ago. So it should look like that. And it's going to be kind of free right now. One thing we don't want to do, by the way, is mess around with this spring inside this housing here. That can completely change how this gun functions. Okay, now step 4 says mate the firearm handle. That's what they're calling this over here, the firearm handle. And the MonoGrip by first placing the stirrup and the stock pin into the internal guide grooves using your thumb to separate. Well, okay, make it work like that. Let's give this a try. So by the way, what they're talking about is down inside here, down right inside here, there's actually a plastic insert that rides about right here, okay, and all the way down in, and they want that stirrup and this pin to ride inside this rail right here. And so we're going to see if we can get that going. Well, so far so good. Riding in that rail pretty well, actually. Pretty easily. Boy, look at that. That is just so easy. Actually, it took longer to remove the grip than to install the new one. You see how that went? Just riding inside that rail, and then it kind of observed that rail as it's going down inside there, and it'll just kind of almost take off on its own with a little bit of pressure. Now we're not done. Okay. Then here it says step 5. We kind of did these. The MonoGrip should be guided up behind the trigger guard. Okay. And then pivoted in place. That all kind of happened all at once. Fit very well. That's quite amazing. The MonoGrip must be fully seated on the firearm before inserting the mounting screw. Now, this is seated very, very far up. The only thing we haven't done yet is maybe sucked up this little portion here. There's a little bit of a gap here, and I suspect when we install that mounting screw right inside here, that it'll suck up the rest of this area right here. And that is, of course, step number 6. Let's go ahead and give that a try. There's our screw. Going to insert that there. Just start it by hand a little bit. Make sure the threads meet up correctly, and we're started pretty well now. give her a finish with the screwdriver. Watch that. Suck this up here. Here we go. And it says just tighten it. Don't over tighten it. There's no need to over tighten it. Step 7. The MonoGrip is designed to fit the average size frame. There are variations of what they're implying here in the manufacturing process. And because frame dimensions do vary slightly from firearm to firearm, I'm reading here, if necessary, your MonoGrip can be adjusted by placing some small shims or tape, as shown in this little graphic here, on the inside of that gun handle, the firearm handle. It'll be about here. Add a little bit of tape, a little bit of layers of tape to make this flush, if it's not already flush. But I'm feeling this, and it's flush. I mean, maybe we could put a micrometer on this and measure that we're at 0.5 millimeter, maybe, you know. It fits nicely here. Fits nicely here. A little bit of a gap right here. I'm not going to worry about that. But what I really like now is that this pinky has some place to go, and I think that's going to help me as I shoot this thing, just to get a much better grip. And grip is so important when you're shooting firearms, to have an appropriate grip. And hey, we got it. Boy, you saw how long it took. Once I started the actual process, I didn't stop this videotape at all. It just ran continuously. I did stop a couple times, as you know, just to get some additional equipment as I was reading through it. But that is it. Last thing to tell you to do is to check the functioning of it. We'll have to actually check the functioning of it out of the range. But you know what I'm seeing right here works just fine. I'm holding this. I don't want to dry fire it. I do not like dry firing guns. That's something about me, I guess. Everything seems just fine. We'll take this out to the range, give her a try again. Pretty cool little gun. And that was a simple installation. So these Hogue grips were certainly simple to install. They feel very comfortable and allow my hand to fully grasp the grip. But did it really improve my shooting? Well, I haven't shot this gun very much, and maybe I was a little faster in firing those 5 rounds, and I still had to readjust my grip after firing a round or 2. Maybe not quite as much as with the original grips, but I still noticed I had to kind of re-grip it after that snappy little pistol recoiled. So what this is really all saying is that a person does need to practice with the gun, and buying a new grip or buying a new widget to stick onto your gun's not going to make you a better shooter. It's practice that's going to do that.